Hi Stampers, this is Debbie Henderson from Debbie's Designs. I'm so glad you stopped in today. I have a new project to show you. This is a card I made using the ColorBox Chalk Inks that we now have available at Stampin' Up. And I'm actually going to make a different card today just to show you a different layout to use for this card. For this one, I used the Labels Collection Framelits and I cut out a stencil that I used right here and I laid it on my white cardstock, and I'll show you how I sponged it to give it that effect, that marbled effect. But like I said, we're going to use a different layout for the card I'm going to show you today. For supplies, you're going to need Bermuda Bay cardstock, 11 inches by 4 1/4 inches, scored at 5 1/2 inches in the center and folded. Designer paper, the best year ever from the Celebration 2015 catalog, 3 3/4 inches by 5 inches. And then instead of a square cardstock layer, I'm going to use this banner here from the Party Pennants die, which has 4 pennants on it. And if you'll notice, I put the sizes of my pennants so I know what size cardstock to cut when I'm ready to get those in my Big Shot machine. So we'll put these aside. We're going to use this one. For the chalk ink, we're going to use the Rose Coral, Yellow Citrus, and Aquamarine. And we're also going to be using the Tuxedo Black ink for one of the stamped images. So let's get started. So for this technique, we're using 3 ink colors for the background. So you're going to need 3 pieces of saran wrap. And all we're going to do with that is crinkle it up. So I've got 2 other pieces here. And I'm going to start out with the Yellow Citrus. And I'm just going to pounce on my ink pad and just add color here and there. And then we'll bring in the Rose Coral and do the same thing. Pounce. And you'll see how pretty that looks. The color is so vivid. I did try this on our chalkboard paper and it didn't turn out very pretty. The colors just didn't pop like they do on the white. Now we're going to use the Aquamarine. Just going to add some lighter. And that's all there is to this technique. You just pounce with the saran wrap until you're happy with the results, and you get a really nice looking marbled background. Now let's assemble our card. Now I'm going to bring in my stamped image, and I'm using this flower image from the Gifts of Kindness stamp set, which is in our annual catalog. And I'm going to turn it upside down so I can ink it that way. We're going to use the Tuxedo Black Memento pad. Pounce, pounce, pounce. And I'm going to use that in the center of my tag. You'll see how pretty that looks with the bright colors in the background. And I'm also going to stamp the sentiment on a scrap piece of paper, scrap piece of cardstock. And I'm going to cut that out with the word window punch. So now I have all my pieces. So I'm going to bring in my Bermuda Bay and use my bone fold. I'm going to add some baker's twine to the front of my tag, and this baker's twine is from one of my paper pumpkin kits that I had left over, and I'm just going to wind it around here 3 times. And snip that off. And I'm just going to tie this into a double knot. And bring this all down together and trim off the ends. And then we're going to glue this to the card front. And for my sentiment, I'm going to add stamping dimensionals, and I always like to use the skinny strip on the edge for my thinner sentiments. This fits perfectly on the word window shape. I'm just going to put that right there, and then I'm going to finish it off with some rhinestones. Add a big one in the larger flower and the smaller ones. Whoops, I missed that one. So there you have it. That's the saran wrap technique using the chalk inks. And this was the first card that I made that I used pearls instead of the rhinestones. So it gives you 2 different layouts to look at. If you have any questions, feel free to contact me. I'll have all of the supplies listed at the end of my video for both cards. And feel free to place an order through my online store if you'd like to try this technique. Have a good day, and thanks for stopping by.